Welcome back, City Builders. CodiakTheKodiak here. In today's video, we're going to be going over one of the most unique region packs yet, the China pack. I'm not really too sure what I was expecting necessarily out of the China pack, but I'm thoroughly impressed, especially with the high-density buildings as well as the service buildings included in this pack. There's some other unique things that this pack does that other region packs aren't doing that I think give it its own unique flair. And the high-rise buildings especially, I don't think are exclusive to China, so you'll definitely be able to use them in any build you can think of that needs some of that urban high-rise. Now, before we get started, over on Twitch, as well as on my other YouTube channel, which I will leave a link to down below, we're currently in the process of doing a 9 to 5 streamathon. So throughout the entire month of February, I will be live over on my Twitch from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so long as the timer keeps running. Now, we've been having a lot of fun over there. Recently, we've been diving into the new Civilization 7, so if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on that game, because I have quite a few, you guys can pop on over and ask any questions you'd like from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, every weekday throughout the month of February. We'll also be diving into Avowed starting on Valentine's Day, and we have a fun weekly schedule and lots of other fun stuff, so pop on through if you have the time. Now that that's out of the way, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and do not forget to turn on notifications so you can keep up to date with all the City Skylines 2 news, tips, and tricks. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, now here is the new region pack, and you might notice it does look quite a bit smaller than maybe some of the other region packs, but I think this pack is small but mighty. And hopefully you guys will agree with me on that as we dive into the pack, because there's a lot of variety in these buildings. You'll notice a lot, I guess, throughout some of the other packs that as you go up in levels with certain buildings, they kind of just look like larger versions of the same building, and there's really not a lot of diversity. However, in this pack, especially when we move into the high rises, you'll notice that as these buildings level up, they look radically different, which actually gives you a lot more variety in your city. So while this pack doesn't offer as many options per level necessarily as some of the other packs, as it levels up, it creates a ton of diversity in your city. So let's move on down here to the low density housing. Now, I honestly don't necessarily know what Chinese low residential housing necessarily looks like, but these buildings are super cute, and I could see someone using these potentially inside of other builds as well. These homes are also super adorable, and you can tell the time and care that it took to make some of these, like this house especially. I absolutely love this one. Like, this house is a great example. Aside from the little bit of detail in the architecture, like the roofing or maybe the windows, this just looks like a normal low-density home. And that moves up all the way to these massive courtyard lots that are in the 6x6 zoning for the pack, and they look super cool. I could see somebody maybe just placing one of these using Find It or something like that and creating something really unique based around this lot. There's also some more modern housing too. This almost feels like it's more of like a triplex than it does a single family home, but it's still really cool, and I'm really impressed with some of the details that are included in these lots. So anyways, that's the low density. We also have some medium density homes. I did a test right here. Some of the buildings do also use the recolor meshes. So if you want to use those, you actually do have the ability to use them on certain buildings. So as we can see here, I can change this color to anything that I kind of want to. Now, it doesn't appear on every single building. Like if I click on this one, it doesn't seem to give me the options. I haven't really tried though, but mess around with it if you don't like the color scheme of the city, because it does kind of default to this yellow color on a lot of these buildings. So if you don't really care for that, try to change it. This pack is definitely not as uniform as some of the other packs. I brought it up in the intro, but there's a lot of diversity as these buildings move upwards. So as you notice, there's actually missing buildings in certain lots. And then if we go over here to the low rent and high residential, which I did not break up, that's my bad. So this is actually all inside of this district right here, all of the low rent and high residential buildings all in one district right here. But as you see, as they move up this level right here, so the level 4, so it's the 3 and 4 level buildings are actually, they actually have more options than the other tiers. But hopefully, as you see right here with the low rent and high res buildings, you can see as they level up, they look like radically different buildings. For those of you who like to plop and use detail mode inside of your builds, this will be really beneficial for you because there's actually a ton of variety when it comes to high rises in this pack. So anyways, this is the low rent and high res buildings. These are the medium and these are the low. And I do think they look pretty great, and they look generic enough that I could see myself using these in an NA build and an EU build. Hopefully some of these buildings have the ability to be recolored. If not, you're gonna have to deal with these big pink skyscrapers in your city. But as we move up, all of these buildings right here are your unique office buildings that exist in this pack, and these buildings are beautiful. And as I hover over them, you'll notice that a lot of these buildings actually have helipads on them. And in order to place all these buildings in the way that I normally place them, I had to use anarchy mode. So this building could not be placed this close to this building. This means when you spawn in, or when it naturally spawns in some of these helipad buildings, you're not going to be able to see some of these higher buildings next to them because, you know, obviously the helipads and the taller buildings would conflict with one another. This can help make these buildings feel like more landmark buildings in your city, which is super nice in terms of creating a lot more depth and uniqueness in your builds. And I'm really excited to see that the people who worked on this pack actually utilize this feature. Now, we also have some signature buildings over here for the office packs as well. So we have this local office building, an old traditional office building, provides space for local companies. I mean, this just looks kind of cute. I'm going to be honest with you. You could use this in an NA build, in an EU build. Just looks like a nice old generic office building. We got plus 1% office efficiency citywide, plus 5% interest in university education citywide, plus 1% university graduation chance, plus 5 well-being, and minus 2 crime rate. Next to it is the downtown office building. This office building provides employment space and businesses related to the software industry. So plus 1 office efficiency, plus 1 interest in university, plus 1 university graduation, and plus 5 well-being within 1 kilometer. Now, this is a gorgeous building. I absolutely love the corner here where the glass kind of meets the edge. I think that's absolutely beautiful. And this would be a really cool, like, landmark skyscraper and maybe a smaller skyline. Next to that is this super unique, like, I don't know, I guess kind of bendy building is kind of the way I've been like thinking about it, because it bends in the middle. It's a landmark office skyscraper. It's curved modernism design, or with a curved modernism design. The architecture style in towering height embodies the spirit of modern Chinese urban development. This is the Peony Tower. So that one gives plus 1 office efficiency citywide, plus 5 attractiveness citywide, and plus 5 well-being within 2 kilometers. This next building is the financial center, and it has this little, like, I don't know, I guess like park pavilion on the building right in the middle there, and you can kind of like spin around it. It's a little hard to get the actual thing, but the whole center of this tower is actually open right here, which is so cool. I love the uniqueness of that. This modern skyscraper featuring a sky atrium at over 300 meters tall. It stands a potential landmark for your city. Its sleek contemporary facade represents the city's advanced level of modern development. Plus 2 office efficiency citywide, plus 5% interest in university education citywide, plus 1% university graduation chance citywide, and plus 5 well-being within 1.5 kilometers. It also has a helipad on top, so keep that in mind. So does this building. And then finally, I mean, this is just like the building of the pack for me personally, is this massive Skyline Place, towering at 500 meters. 500 meters. I mean, just look at the top of this building. I mean, look at that reflectiveness up there, and then you kind of have this, like, if you look in here, this little cut in too on all of these. It almost looks like a flower in a way. I absolutely love this building. Wow. And the bottom of it too is super cool. You have this like pathway right here with these rings, like these art exhibits are kind of here, this overhang where people like maybe walk into the building at right here and right here. I mean, this is just a gorgeous asset. Absolutely stunning, this one. Towering at 500 meters, this near futuristic skyscraper showcases the pinnacle of modern Chinese architectural ambition and innovation. As a globally renowned attraction, it draws tourists from around the world to experience its breathtaking design and panoramic views. Plus 2% office efficiency citywide, plus 5% interest in university education citywide, plus 1% university graduation chance citywide, and plus 5 well-being within 5.5 kilometers. I mean, this building is absolutely gorgeous. It will be the landmark of your city if you place it down. It is a little hard to show off some of these skyscrapers now that I'm kind of like recording it. They're so close together, but I wanted to keep everything kind of uniform to how I normally lay out the building. So sorry for that. But as we move into the regular offices, you'll notice that there is a ton of variation between these office buildings. And you can see like this is almost like a mini version of this one, but it's like a different color. And then you have this cool twisty one right here. And then you have this little blob right here. And then you have some like other more generic skyscrapers down over here. I mean, this pack has just created such such beautiful skyscrapers. Like if you have been looking to spice up your downtown in your city, this is an amazing pack. And I think that I hope at least that the Chinese flair on the front of it, that people are like, well, I don't want to build an Asian looking city. I hope that doesn't deter people away from downloading and using this pack, because there is some beautiful skyscrapers in this. Now, there is some commercial in this pack. It is these 3 signature buildings back over here. So first off, we have the bookshop, a bookstore located in the commercial area of the city. The variety of books is rich, which meets the needs of citizens of all ages. Plus 1% attractiveness citywide, and plus 3 well-being within 500 meters. It almost kind of reminds me of the pedestrian DLC in City Skylines, with that more like urban wall-to-wall look, like the bricks on the outside here as well. I think it's super unique. You would obviously maybe want to put it on a corner or something like that, or open. I'm not really too sure how you'd want to place it in your city, but I think it looks super neat and modern and really nice, actually. If we move on to the next building here, which, again, these skyscrapers are getting in the way, but you can kind of see how it would fit into your city maybe a little bit better that way, is the City Shopping Mall. Here we go. Here's a beautiful view of it. The shopping mall is a great place for people to shop. It's inspired by the architectural style common in 2000s China. Minus 1% import cost citywide, plus 1% attractiveness citywide, plus 5 well-being within 1 kilometer, and plus 2 commercial recreation for the city. I could actually see this being placed in a lot of other builds. Aside from the fact that there's like Mandarin on the side of the building, I think you could totally see this being placed in a lot of other places than just China as well, which is always great. I love to see buildings that can be used in a lot of different ways, because it helps open the door to people kind of exploring different architectural designs that maybe they kind of see semblances of in their day-to-day life, or even in their normal builds, that they just didn't think of opening their mind to. Now, finally, over here, we have the United Mall, and this just looks like a generic, mall. Like I could, and like, oh gosh, the roof of this one is just spectacular. So you have like this courtyard up here, and you have some food stalls and little greenhouses on this side of the roof over here, and then this is where all the HVAC and AC stuff is. So I absolutely love that. I love that little detail there. But this is a large, old-fashioned shopping mall where citizens can come to eat, drink, and have fun. Plus 1% attractiveness citywide, and plus 5 well-being within 1 kilometer. I think this building just kind of, it just looks like a mall. It looks like a mall you could place in your normal builds. I'm excited to use this one in my builds, because I totally will, because it just looks like a shopping mall. You even have these like round, like rotating doors in there as well. And you can see as you rotate around, it kind of looks like it's rotating too. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. I'm really excited to actually place this one in one of my builds. So here's all of the growable buildings, the low, medium, low rent, and high residential. And I have this area zoned down here so you can actually see the text on that one, because otherwise with the buildings it's way too big. The office buildings in this area right here, and the commercial buildings. And then with these, 5 right here, and these 3 being signature buildings that you can only place one of in your city unless you are using mods. Love the variety in this pack. I think this one will be super great, especially for people who do detailed builds and plopping, because there is actually a ton of variety between these skyscrapers. Not all of them abide by this rule. You can see it right here where it is just like a taller version of the same building, but some of them are just so uniquely different as they level up right here, and I absolutely love that. Now, next up are the service buildings, and this is actually, as far as I know, the only region pack so far, and we only have the 2 North American packs next, but this is the only region pack that I've seen so far that includes some parks, so that's super cool, and honestly, I'm excited to show you guys those ones. First off, over here is the CN People's Hospital. It's a hospital building that can accommodate hundreds of patients. Widely recognized by the public for its excellent diagnostics and treatments efficiency and quality services. So down over here, I used the European preset when I started the map, so we have the European ambulances. I actually don't know what Chinese ambulances look like, so I don't know if NA or Europe was a better option actually for a Chinese build. So let me know in the comments if you guys think that the European ambulances or the NA ambulances look more like Chinese. I would assume it's the European ones. But here we go. Here is this beautiful hospital. I think this thing's absolutely gorgeous. You could use it in any build. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it. You can fit 400 patients in it as well, and there is 2 upgrades. So we have the patient service household patient service house and helipad. Citizens can receive meditation training or psychological counseling services here to recover their health faster. Adds a helipad to the hospital roof. So as you can see, it just adds an extra little extension to the roof right there, and then adds the helipad. Then we can also add the patient building, a diagnostics and treatment center facility to facilitate rapid triage and treatment of the public. Add 7 extra ambulances, so you can see it adds like a whole new entrance to the building, and I think that looks super nice. Next up, we have the CN City Hall, a center for different branches of the municipal government that reduces the price of imported goods and lowers loan interest rates. Can be upgraded with city planning offices. -1% loan interest citywide, -2% import cost citywide. There's also one upgrade here as well, which decreases the building level cost citywide by 5%. Specialized city planners, it's just the city planning office. But as we add it to the back over here, you can see that it takes over those back spots in the courtyard and adds a whole new wing. This actually feels a little bit more in vibe style when you add those 2 back buildings. For the China pack, it feels a little bit more Chinese maybe, to me as an American looking in, I guess, when you add those 2 back towers. Next up is this CN Community Kindergarten. There's no upgrades for this one, but it is a community kindergarten, a welfare building able to provide preschool and childcare. It can improve the well-being of local residents. Quality services make it popular with local people. +5 well-being within 800 meters and +2 recreation. This is a super cute little modern urban kindergarten here. You have like a little playground out here. You have these cool overhang windows that kind of hang out front here. I think it's a beautiful building. I really like it. And you have like this like grassy play area up here. If I don't know what they would use it for, nature study or something like that. I think this is super nice. Now after that one, we have the CN District Hall, which is a town hall for the district government with a roof in the style of the ancient Chinese architecture. This is a big landmark building. I mean, this thing's gorgeous. This would be like definitely a landmark building in your city, and it does also have one upgrade, which is the courthouse, which adds a little lot into here. I feel like I would maybe want to detail up some of these like more blank spaces, but maybe when you build inside the city, they'll feel more like open spaces that people can kind of sit in rather than needing trees necessarily, but it does feel a little open. However, this building is gorgeous, and I do love the roof and the actual architecture of it. Especially on the front here as well. I think this just looks absolutely great. Now, it does have -1% loan interest rate citywide, -1% import cost citywide, and then the courthouse -2% crime rate citywide. As we place that one right there, we can see the little courthouse building. Next up is this adorable CN local police station, a local police station equipped with excellent officers and attending vehicles. It's an important facility for providing security to the community. This is adorable. This is maybe like, I mean, it's kind of a small asset in a way, but it might be one of my favorite in the whole pack. I love the angled parking for the police cars in the back. I think the architecture of the building looks great. I think the layout of the lot itself is adorable. And we also have an extra garage edition, which has an additional garage for police station, providing officers to respond capacity. So first off, there's 6 vehicles with 25 arresting criminals in the jail cells. And then if we add this onto the back, it takes over just this little like garage section, which makes sense. Should be a garage there. Adds that, and then we have even more parking spot for cars outside and adds the little garage. I think this building is awesome. I love this one. Next up is the CN Fire Department, a large firefighting facility that can directly manage the fire rescue brigade, rescue people in distress, eliminate danger, and extinguish fires. This is the duty of the fire detachment. This has 8 vehicles in use off the rip here, and we can also add 2 fire towers to it. I mean, I think this is super nice. I really like this lot. And if we add on to it with the 2 fire towers over here, you also have 2 fire towers. I don't know the use of these. Are these just for fire spotting? I'm not a fireman, nor have I ever known anybody who is necessarily a full-time firefighter, so I don't actually know the logistics of these fire towers. So if you guys do know, let me know down in the comments. I don't really, the only time I see fire towers are more like out in the woods, I guess, like to spot fires. So let me know down in the comments what's the deal with these. Why do fire buildings have these? Just to spot towers in this or fires in the city so they can go out? I'm curious. Anyways, the architecture of this building is absolutely gorgeous. I think it is very nice. Next up is the CN Fire Rescue Brigade, which is the smaller version, which is a Chinese-style firehouse using a classic white and red color scheme. It serves as a hub for fire supervision, public education on fire safety, providing professional training and squadron management. This one has 3 vehicles, and there is no upgrades, so this is just the fire station. I think this is a super cute asset. I really like this one. Next up is the CN Fire Station, which is another larger fire station with just a different architectural style, and it's also a little bit smaller. Also reduces the likelihood of fires for the buildings in its service area by conducting safety inspections. Can be upgraded with a garage extension, so there is one garage extension. As we move around the lot, this feels more like maybe a little bit like older of an architecture style. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, like this one looks way more modern, and then this one looks like a little bit more older and dated. I think this is pretty cool, and then we can add on the garage extension where those fire trucks are parked, and that turns it into 12. So pretty nice on that one. Okay, next up is the CN City Library, a library that expresses the roof elements of ancient Chinese architecture in a modern architectural way. This is a good place for citizens to read and relax and improve their well-being. +1 college graduation chance, +1 university graduation chance, +5 interest in university, +5 well-being, and +5 indoor recreation. This is a really cool building. I think this is actually really nice looking. It kind of reminds me of a library I feel like I've seen somewhere here in the state of Michigan, but I can't really remember where. Maybe not as grand or like sloping up, but just like the brick and the window style. Gosh, I do really like that. And then we have this little like water out around the building as well as a little pond. I really like this little library here. This is quite a unique library to put in your build. Next up is the CN Community College. So a community college and building and design style common in northern China. As a vocational school, the community college provides training in areas such as construction, manufacturing, and awards associate degrees to its graduates. I love the little descriptions in this pack. This is I'm a big fan of the descriptions, actually. This has 6,000 student capacity here, and it's a college. So I think this is a really cool community college lot. I can see myself using this in a lot of different builds. I love how forested it is as well. I think this is really nice. Next up is the CN High School Chinese-style high school building complex with classrooms, outdoor hallways, and a small sports field. So we do have these like outdoor exposed hallways right here. I don't know why. Whenever I see hallways like this, I think of like Cali or like Florida or something like that. I don't think these are very common throughout the states outside of those areas. So when I see those, I always think of those kind of places. So I could see this actually totally being used as like a big prep school in like a California or a Florida build, maybe even. It almost kind of looks like a hotel in a way as well, too. It's quite beautiful, to be quite honest. And like, yeah, you have these like side rooms over here. I know these are supposed to be classrooms, but gosh, I could see you like placing this down and like making it feel like it's more of a hotel rather than a actual high school. I really like this building. There is no upgrades for it, however, but it does have a 2,000 student capacity. Next up is the CN Ruby Rock Elementary School, a local elementary school that can provide primary level education for school-aged children. Interesting that it has the Ruby Rock name on the front of it. I wonder if this is inspired by a real building. Let me know down in the comments if you guys find it. But here we are. There is one upgrade on the back, which is Ruby Rock Music House. Provision additional music room on the top floor and upgrades the outdoor area and other recreational facilities in the school. So if you guys saw that, we can add this right here. Gets rid of that brown, dirty back lot. Maybe that was supposed to be like wood chips for kids to play in, but now instead it has these like little gazebo houses on the back and a greenhouse and some sandboxes in the back too. And then we also add this extra building on top. I think this looks really beautiful, actually. Now, next up is the CN University, and this lot has a ton of add-ons, so we'll go into those, but a university inspired by the Hui style, I think it's Hui, tell me if I'm wrong, style roof structure and other ancient Chinese architectural ideas. It provides an undergraduate education and awards bachelor degrees to its graduates. I have one of those. That's cool. So the CN University. So we have the College of Liberal Arts, which can be added on. So first off, the building has 5,500 student capacity. When you add this, it adds 6,000 student capacity. And that adds these cool like dorm or like maybe even university buildings off to the side, which adds that same architectural style. You have this cool like, tower here as well. Big courtyard. Maybe too many benches, but, we have that over there. And then, oh gosh, I love the backside of this too, is like, there's this cool like circle right here, this like architectural style. Oh gosh, I love this. I think this is absolutely super cool. Like if you box this in with a road, I think this would look super sick. We also have the College of Science. That's another 6,000 student capacity. So now we're up to 17,000 student capacity on this building. Again, it's kind of just a mirrored version on this side. Next up, we have the sports track, which I will put, you can actually place this kind of anywhere around. It's interesting, though, because when I try to, it's because that road's right there. Okay, I see. All right, I'll place it down here. So we have the university track. sports track, a standard playground with 400-meter running track for students to work out and play soccer. It adds +4 well-being and +20 outdoor recreation. So you can see right here that there's these little bleachers, and this just feels like a really nice, like, you know, kind of like collegiate or even high school like sports pitch. You know, if you put some American football goalposts kind of on the end, I could see this just being used in like an NA build. I think it's really interesting that they did use these these like skate park pieces as like extra like bleacher ramps or something, or maybe you can skate on it. I don't actually know. I feel like that would not fly here in the States to have those that close, but I like how it makes it feel like the bleachers have more of an extension that's even lower on the side. I appreciate the creativity that they have there, and then we obviously have the basketball courts over there. Next up, we have the Academy building, which is an academy building inspired by the Hui style roof combined with the ancient Chinese architectural ideas. So it's just basically an extra building that you can place. I will put it right, let's put it right here on the main road, and as you can see, it's just kind of these side buildings, but you can kind of place them individually by themselves right there, and those puppies add about 2,000 student capacity, so now we're up to 19,000. And then right here, if we have extra classrooms and lecture halls, so that's this big lot right here, but you can actually place it totally separate. I'll place one across the street right here. I think that actually looks super cool. So it's just kind of these side sections, but you can place it individually as well. And these guys add about 4,500 student capacity. So if you place one of each building, you have 2,400 student capacity, or 24,000, sorry, student capacity. Now, next up are the last two buildings in the pack, and they are both parks. So we have the Western Observation Tower. I'm honestly kind of surprised that this is a park and maybe not like a telecommunications building, I guess, because of the actual tower on the top. But, you know, that's what it is. And I think that it being a park also makes total sense to me, because you do have this observation tower in the middle here. I think this is actually a beautiful actual asset right here, too. The observation tower is designed with inspiration from blooming snow lotus. It provides citizens with services including sightseeing, leisure, and meals, plus 20 indoor recreation. So I think that's pretty cool. And then we also have the Yin Yun Tower. The Yin Yun Tower, Silver Cloud Tower, is a 4-story traditional Chinese tower. On top of the tower, the visitors have a spectacular view of the city. It's plus 100 outdoor recreation, and I mean, this is a beautiful piece of Chinese architecture. Probably the most like glaring Chinese architecture that I, you know, as an American, when I look at it, it's like, bam, that is definitely, that feels like China. I think it's the red with the roof style. This feels right, you know? And you have all of these beautiful walking paths throughout it, and then you have clearly some path extensions here where you're probably meant to put a road or something else on the side over here to connect it up with something else. You know, if you really wanted to get fancy with it, you could go into EDT or some of these other mods and like actually maybe bring this path out over here, you know, like you just give me a second here. You know, and then you can connect that up and then maybe add some cool stuff in the center here, maybe some extra parking or something like that. You know, there's a lot of options that you can actually do with some of these buildings, and I think it's really cool that they have made this actual lot as a park. It's nice that this pack has parks, because it is not something that we have really seen much of in these region packs. So there you have it. Here is the China pack. And while it is small, again, I think this pack actually packs quite a punch for being as like not as building rich as some of the other ones. Like, you can tell the detail and the thought is really what is excelling this pack forward into being one of the better ones, I honestly think. Now, before I let you guys get out of here, the next video coming out is actually going to be on the USA Southwest. It was supposed to be USA Northeast on the 24th of February. However, that pack has now been flip-flopped, so now the Northeast is going to be actually out on March 3rd. And the USA Southwest pack will be out on the 24th of February. Now, I've said it before, and I will bring it up again in this video as well. I'm making my return to City Skylines 2 live streaming and doing a lot more Let's Build and actual active City Skylines content, aside from just the news updates starting on March 3rd when all of the North American packs are out. I've been really craving to do a North American build, and we just keep getting all these European buildings. And I think now, once we get all these packs in, especially with this China pack having all these beautiful skyscrapers, I really feel like I can actually build what I want to build in City Skylines. So we're going to be making our big return on March 3rd over on my Twitch, and on this YouTube channel. I'll be live over here as well on March 3rd. All right, when I'm recording this, the Super Bowl is on today, and I'm an American, so obviously I will be enjoying our favorite pastime. So I'm going to let you guys get on with your day. I've been CodiakTheKodiak, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.